Welcome to Athar's Garage. In this video, I'll be working on the Team Associated B74.2 Bag 10. So let's get started. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and assemble our slipper. So we're going to need our slipper shaft. We're going to need the slipper nut, along with a M3 by 3 set screw. We're also going to need our slipper spring and our slipper hub front. So the slipper hub front, I believe, is going to be this particular piece. I think this one is the rear. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and put this M3 by 3 set screw in, and it doesn't say so, and it says to doesn't say to install it with blue Loctite, but it is going into aluminum. It is going into metal. So I'm just going to put a little dab of blue Loctite to give me a little extra insurance, and I'm just going to start the threads on there. So we can go ahead and put the slipper nut on, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put it on. And I just screwed it on all the way. I'm going to go ahead and adjust it later. So I'm going to go ahead and, so one thing to note, and maybe we'll have to adjust it later, but if you look at the slipper shaft, it actually has flats on the thread. So it's got a flat here, and 180 degrees away it also has a flat. So take note of that, because when we tighten down on that M3 by 3 set screw, we want to go onto that flat. So let's go ahead and put this nut back on. We're going to go ahead and install the slipper spring. Then we're going to install the slipper hub front. And before I put it on there, I'm going to wipe it down with some alcohol. So take note, the shape of the hole is actually rectangular, and the shaft is also rectangular. So once you line it up, it'll just drop right in. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to install the spur gear with the slipper pads. In the way that I'm assembling it, the side with the raised portion here is going to install first. So let's go ahead and install our slipper pads, and I like to install it in this orientation here where it's like bulging out. So we can go ahead and install that, and make sure that it's still sitting, the slipper pad is sitting in the correct orientation. Make sure there's no debris or anything. Go ahead and install the other slipper pad, just like so. And lastly, we're going to install the slipper pad hub rear, and we're going to put the flat side facing the slipper pad, not this side. This side isn't flat. Okay. And I'm still compressing everything together. So next, what we're going to need is we're going to need our CVA pin. And so we're going to install the slipper out drive. Take note of the hole right there. And there's a hole over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up those holes, just like so. And we're going to install the CVA pin. Make sure it's sitting flush or underneath the diameter. And next what we're going to do is we're going to install an M3x3 set screw into the slipper out drive, and I'm going to install it with some blue Loctite. So I don't want that to come apart. Just to make sure that pin doesn't want to move. Okay. So now what we can do is we can adjust this gap on this side. So I'm tightening the slipper nut to get 2.1 millimeters of gap between the slipper shaft and the nut. And the adjustment range is 2.1 to 3.3. So 2.1 is the lowest setting or the loosest slipper clutch, and 3.3 would be the tightest. And I'm tightening down that set screw and it's touching the flat. We've got 2.1 millimeters, so we're perfect. All right. So now what we can do is we can grab our two M10 by 15 by 4 bearings and slide them on. Make sure that the rubber seals are facing outward. There we go. So we can go ahead and install the motor mount and center bulkhead. So we're going to need 4 M3 by 8 flathead screws, and these will be going into aluminum, which is nice. These pieces are aluminum. And so we're going to install some blue Loctite. And so the way these are going to install is you have lips on here. There's a lip there. That's going to be facing towards the center of the car. So it's going to be like so. And then on the motor mount itself, there's a lip as well. And you want that to face the center of the vehicle. So it's going to install like so. All right. So the lip is on this side and the lip is on this side. And the motor mount, the motor is going to install over here. So we're going to use these 4 holes to install these 2 pieces. So this center bulkhead is going to go in these 2 holes, and the motor mount in these 2 holes. So one thing to note before you do this next step is in bag 1, if you did not install the fan mount in this location, it didn't say to put a screw in and didn't include a screw, but you should probably install a M3 by 8 millimeter button head screw in this hole, which I've already done. Because if you do this next step, the drive shaft will be in the way to install it. All right, so next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install the center bulkhead, which is this nice carbon fiber piece, along with our slipper clutch assembly. So the long portion of the slipper clutch goes towards the front of the vehicle. So go ahead and slide in your axles and go ahead and drop in your slipper clutch assembly just like so. And we can then use our center bulkhead and put it on top. And we're going to install 2 M3x8 button head screws on the 2 holes in the front. And if you're using the fan mount, you'll use the fan mount and 2 M3x10 box head button head screws back here. I don't plan to use a fan right now, so I'll put 2 M3x8 button head screws up front and 2 M3x8 button head screws in the rear, which are included, by the way. So it's nice that they include the extra screws and the screws for mounting the fan to the fan mount itself. So go ahead and install these screws with some blue Loctite, since these screws are going into aluminum. So that concludes bag 10. Didn't have any issues installing any of this, so that's a plus. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you found the video helpful. Let me know down in the comments below if you had any issues. I'll do my best to help you out if I can. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for the next video where I assemble bag 11. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.